Hey everybody, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm Robin Anderson, and if we haven't met yet, let me tell you a quick backstory about how I got here. I was lucky enough to graduate college in 2007 during that awesome recession. My dad actually just lost his job, and my parents went bankrupt. They lost my childhood home. I had a nice degree, but all that student debt was really all consuming. I never wanted my friends to know about my financial situation, and I saw how money affected my parents, and I just wanted to change that trajectory for me. So I decided to learn how to hustle. That's simply what it is. I took a commission-only sales job at a web development agency. I was lucky enough to sit next to an amazing, successful woman named Lauren. I studied everything she did, and then of course I added my own flair. Nothing lights a fire up under your ass like knowing you're in a room with people who have access to the exact same products as you do, and they're making six figures monthly. So guess what? I figured that out because I had to. After 6 months, I was making a living. After a year, I was helping my parents. And in 2 years, I was like, I could do this better. And I started my own agency. That did go on for about 4 years, and we did end up growing it to about $3 million a year. I have a story for that for another time. The success that I created for myself in my sales career was based on knowing who I was talking to and how to talk to them. It's simple sales and marketing, but actually so complex. I sold my company, joined another agency, and they sent me through an elite sales program through a big name school you've all heard of. After about 6 months in the program, I graduated, and while looking back, I realized it was terrible. It was so terrible and so expensive that it lit a fire under me again. But this time to do my own thing once again. I tried to create my own sales and marketing training. In 2022, after 15 years of selling in agencies, I was like, here it is. Here's my amazing sales and marketing course. I was in my final review and shooting videos, and that's when ChatGPT came out. I saw the writing on the wall. Everything I've ever created in sales and marketing was going to be done better and faster. All those important building blocks to build and scale your business were going to be done by AI. Creating your customers' profiles, emailing, phone scripts, Google ads, meta ads, website content, all of it. I could do it in a minute. Little did I know that only 2 years later, it would not only be writing that content for me, but doing it for me entirely. So I decided to pivot. I decided to become sales and marketing training powered by AI. So I created Jam.ai in March of 2023. And this is our flagship product, Club Jam. Club Jam is a community where we do live training every week because AI never stops and we have to keep on top of it. We provide tools, templates, and AI agents for all of our members. And we also have on-demand training on all the important things people need to get started. Everything from ChatGPT mastery to creating AI sales and systems, and then back to some of the things we're going to be talking about today, which are tried and true sales and marketing foundations. So that's why I'm here today. It's to help you understand where to get started, and especially when it comes to marketing with AI. But first, let me answer this question for those in the room who are new to AI. AI is simply a branch of computer science focused on creating systems that can simulate human cognitive functions, like learning, reasoning, problem solving, and understanding language. Under the hood, it's powered by algorithms, which are pretty much step-by-step instructions, and increasingly machine learning and deep learning modules. Well, how it works is data in, processing, and then to output. AI systems take in the input data, text, images, audio, and numbers. Algorithms detect patterns, make predictions, or generate new content. The result could be an answer, a decision, or even an original content like image, photographs, and videos. Machine learning is a subset of AI where the system learns from examples instead of being programmed with explicit rules. For example, if you feed it 1,000 pictures of dogs and cats and it learns what makes each distinct, then it can identify them in new photos, and then it can go on to create new photos of those. Neural networks and deep learning, those are inspired by the human brain. Neural networks are layers of connected nodes or neurons that process data in stages. Deep learning just means these networks have layers, enabling them to handle complex tasks like speech recognition or natural understanding. Natural language processing, or NLP, is the branch of AI that lets computers understand, interpret, and generate human language. This is what powers chatbots, translation models, and LLMs like ChatGPT. The technology stack a typical AI system might have is data, algorithms, and training. It scales instantly and can process millions of data points faster than the human brain. The AI is embedded into websites, CRMs, customer service systems, and marketing tools. Simple, right? So if you think AI has been coming at us fast, you're right. In 2023, there were approximately 14,700 AI tools on the market, which we thought was a lot. That number has grown to about 77,933 tools, representing a significant increase of 294%. In August of 2025, ChatGPT has approximately 700 million weekly active users worldwide. They're aiming to have 1 billion by the end of this year. 10 to 15 million of those are paying subscriptions. So this is only going to keep growing. How does one keep up? Well, I have some answers for you on that, but I want to look back at the workday in 2022 and then compare it to the workday in 2025. And then we'll talk about how we can get you working like it's 2025, because it is. 8:30 a.m., 2022, you'd spend your morning doing the inbox avalanche routine, 45 minutes reading and replying to emails, flagging these as leads, follow up on, and putting them into a CRM separately. At 9:30, you're writing social media content, you're writing captions for Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn from scratch. You'll spend an hour at least sourcing stock footage, images, resizing, and posting manually. Maybe a couple hours later, you'll do some prospecting research. You'll Google each prospect, copy info into spreadsheets, manually search for LinkedIn. And you know what? Something like this takes about 2 hours as well. And I have her kids running around in the background because we all know 2022, post-COVID, we didn't get any time alone. Or we were all alone all the time. Drafting marketing emails is next. You'll write a promotional email from scratch, manually check grammar and formatting. You'll do it on a piece of paper and spill coffee on it. You'll get frustrated, go eat a donut, and then come back and start from scratch. A couple hours later, you'll come back and do sales follow-up calls. You'll do handwritten notes and follow up with your emails manually. This takes about 2 hours to do all the calls and then put all the info into the CRM. Then you do some forecasting and come up with ideas for marketing, which is all pretty much a best guess because all of your data is full of holes. 2025 has transitioned AI from a supportive tool to an active, always-on chief of staff. Let's take a look at what the new workday could be. You wake up and you review your daily action plan generated by your AI OS. The AI has a process for overnight communications, marketing news, and pipeline movements. It presents the top 3 actions with the highest predicted revenue impact. The AI dashboard delivers a morning summary, top leads, urgent follow-ups, competitor updates, and suggested actions. It takes about 10 minutes to review and approve. Then you move on to prospecting. You'll go ahead and you'll check with your AI that's pulling real-time data on your 50 leads from your CRM. You can have these emails ready to send to them in under 10 minutes. Then you move on to social media. Your content can be done in 15 minutes. All you do is you enter theme of the week as a prompt into your AI generator and instantly gets a 5-day post plan with captions, hashtags, and AI-generated images in your brand style. It schedules across platforms for the next 15 minutes, All you have to do is check it. Then we go on to the personalized email campaign. AI drafts segmented promotional emails, and it does A/B tests and subject lines. It takes about 15 minutes for you to review and approve. Creative brainstorming uses AI to brainstorm webinar themes, headlines, and partnership ideas. It chooses the top 20 options in about 5 minutes. Then we still believe you really need to do some deep work sales calls. This is where you focus on high value calls, maybe 1 or 2 hours, and this is where your humanistic instinct and needs really come in, because it is up to you to make this real connection. But after that, you have time to work on your physical and mental health. You go and do your workout created by your AI trainer, and you eat your lunch delivered and ordered by your AI agent. Then you end your day with the most important thing on your calendar, learning and innovation time. This uses up free hours to test new strategies, network and learn new AI strategies. The rest of the day is flexible. Leave early or invest in some new skills and education, or do some strategic work. You can see this new workday has freed up about 4 hours of time and got more done than you could possibly get done in a week. So this new technology is changing rapidly, and while it seems impossible to catch up, it's not. It's all about prioritizing and learning development. But don't worry. Whether you're selling rubber chickens, high-end video production, or coconut mint-scented candles, one thing is true across the board. Marketing is all about impressions, and sales is all about connections. And growth is about doing more of those consistently. More touch points equals more chances to win. But who has time for this? You have 5 platforms to deal with. You have emails, you have blogs, you have lead follow-ups. It's too much unless you get help. And that's where AI steps in. Not to replace you, but to amplify you. So here's the real question. How do we use AI to create more impressions and more connections without burning out? Here's my 3-step approach that we'll go through today. Number 1, you have to always be learning and keep up with new tools. Number 2, you have to have a great sales and marketing plan based on those old school foundational concepts. Then you need to automate and create systems with these 2 things. So let's jump right into AI tools. Now, as you saw, there's 57,000, however many out right now in 2025. So this list of 6 of them is not going to do, and I know that. I pulled these, which are free content creation AI tools that we use all the time and we train our members on and we just love. So you can really move the needle just using some of these tools. First, we're going to go through them and what they are, and then we're going to use them in real time. So, of course, we're going to start with our friend ChatGPT. It's one of the best LLMs out there, if you ask me. And they recently just came out with a new model, GPT-5. This is August 2025, if you're watching it recorded. And it's completely changed the game as far as doing research and actually doing automations for you. So let me show you a few ways you can use ChatGPT better than the rest. Number 1 is customizing it. If you go into your settings, you'll see that it says Customize ChatGPT. So this is where you can tell ChatGPT who you are and what you're using it for. I don't recommend using this if you're using ChatGPT for multiple client projects or using it for both your work and personal life, because it will take these instructions and apply it to all your chats. So you can have it call you something if you want it to know your name, or maybe you want a new fun name. You could tell it what you do. You could tell it how you want it to respond to you. And I think that's the important part for me. I always like more of a brief, condensed answer. So I have it give me information in bullet points. I want it to share links and references, and that's what I asked it to do. So you can do anything you want. You could even ask ChatGPT in a separate chat how you should customize it. Also, inside ChatGPT, if you are one of those people running multiple projects, or maybe you use it for both work and personal, you can create projects inside of ChatGPT, and you could name it and train that specific project. I like to give this out around now because this is basically an AI business blueprint. And what it is it's a survey all about your business. And you could fill it out yourself, or you could feed these questions into ChatGPT if you've been using it for a long time and have it help you fill out this information. But what it is it becomes a PDF all about your business, your products, your customer, your ICP, which we'll get into. And basically then you can train ChatGPT to know everything about you with your prompt. So once you have this PDF and you say, okay, ChatGPT, I want you to create 15 Facebook posts for me this week. So if you upload this PDF with that, you'll get a much better response than if you were to just say, here's my website, create 5 Facebook posts for me this week. So feel free to download this and grab it and make a copy. Don't do it right now because it takes about 20-30 minutes to do. The next thing, and I'll show you these live, are GPTs. And these GPTs are basically chatbots that are pre-programmed to do a specific thing. You can use GPTs in the ChatGPT free account. And if you have the paid version, you can actually make your own. And that's when this becomes a real game changer. And I'm going to show you some of these shortly. Hang tight, we will do a live presentation. The next LLM that I love is Claude. Claude is better used for long form writing. It really gets your tone of voice. It does a great job with coding. So if you are needing help with HTML or instructions around coding, I really love Claude. I recently was doing something outside my wheelhouse as far as development goes, and I ended up getting through it and making it work with Claude. I was able to share my screen with Claude as I was building it, and it helped me build a app. So pretty cool. Inside Claude, it'll have a few options here where you can connect to your Google Drive, Google Calendar, and Gmail. And this is really cool because, again, going from AI writing content for you to AI doing things for you, it can simply create and draft emails, it can respond to emails, it can create files, it could read your files, it could look at your calendar and help you with planning, it could create calendar invites. So it's really cool about that. The other thing that it does is you can create a writing style. And how you do that is you would upload your emails that you've written for the past 20 years, and it'll review it and create a style based off of what you've already written. And I love that because I write how I talk, and people can tell when I'm using AI unless I use this. So I have an entire Robin Anderson style, and it is completely perfect. The next tool I want to talk about is Manus. Manus is an agentic AI research tool, and this is funny because about 6 months ago it was the coolest thing ever because there wasn't agentic search in ChatGPT, but now ChatGPT has agentic search, so it kind of does the same thing. I still like to use Manus because they're trying to stay one step ahead of ChatGPT. So just today I turned it on just to see what they had that was new. And they have this in-depth search. So I'll show you what it did for me. But this was one of the programs I had it do. I asked it to create a website to inform tourists all about Texas. And what it does when I say agentic is it's actually going out to the web and getting information rather than you saying, go view this site. It makes decisions and goes and does research where it thinks it should. It makes an execution plan where you can see what it's doing and why. And then it creates a website. It's pretty, flat, but it had what I needed in there. It also can give you full reports and PDFs, and it'll show you all the files that it created for your request. Manus is free up to a certain amount, so it's pretty cool. This is a image creation tool that I really like called Ideogram. And it does everything from these fun little characters to really realistic photos. Again, it's free up to a certain amount, and then it's really easy to prompt, and I'll show you some of the reasons I like it. All right, and then we're going to look at VO Flow, which is Google's video creation tool, and it's just amazing. It has audio and sound, and it's pretty cool. Some of the prompts within it have to be really intense, and so we actually use ChatGPT to help prompt it. But here's an example of a VO video without sound. Looks pretty realistic, especially if you think about where we came from like a year ago. I don't know if you guys remember that video of like Will Smith eating pasta. He looked like a AI blur pretty much. We went from that to this in 1 year, so it's just incredible. The final tool I want to show you is called Whisk. It's another Google product. And the reason I like this is because you can upload your own images to inspire new images. And it's actually a great way to make logos, words, and then you could also create an image, and then you can see it has like a little animate button. And so you can animate it and it'll actually move like a GIF. So really great for marketing content. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you some of those tools we just went over and actually dive into them. All right, so let's first start here with ChatGPT, and I want to just show you what I was talking about. So if you click here in your settings, you can customize ChatGPT like we talked about. You could do it right in there. And then the other thing I wanted to show you were custom GPTs and GPTs. So if you just go on the side and hit GPTs, you can explore all the GPTs that are available. So I have all of mine for Jam.ai, but you can see what's featured, trending. You could go ahead and type something in, say you want to do a business plan. You could click into any of these and use them. Make sure you just know these are done by third parties. They're usually not ChatGPT's product, unless it says. And so there may be points where they take you to their website or try to sell you something, so just be aware of that. And then if you're looking to create your own, you just hit create. And this is a whole other webinar on how to create custom GPTs, but it's pretty fun to do. I'm going to show you some of the ones that we've created at Jam.ai. So on my website, actually, I have all of these AI assistants. So Morgan is my business development girl. And so I can go ahead and say like, oh, I have a group that just watched our webinar. Can you write a follow-up? And so Morgan is pre-trained on everything that we do at Jam.ai. She's pre-trained on all of our resources. And so I can simply just have her create this content for me and go ahead and pull that into my email marketing. All right, let's show a few of these other tools. Here's Claude. It just came out with this new cool thing which does highlights from recent conversations. And so the cool part about that is that it's showing that it has memory, where a lot of times it didn't have memory before. And then again, it does have these really cool ways to get into your Google Drive. It can get into your Gmail, and you could ask questions about that. It does have a research tool as well, just like ChatGPT. And yeah, so this is really great for creating content, learning, writing. It doesn't do as well with getting up-to-date information as ChatGPT does. So I would suggest using ChatGPT for that. Okay, I had a Manus search go this morning because sometimes it takes a while. It could take up to 15 minutes to do its reports. So today I said, find the names and emails for director level people who run associations in Colorado. And so you can see here, it just came up with these 40 plus director level contacts, gave me all of their information, and it just makes prospecting so easy. And you can see my prompt wasn't in depth at all. Of course, I've been using this Manus for a while, so it does know me, but I just asked a very direct question. And this side of the screen, it tells you everything it did. And on this side of the screen is your results. So pretty cool search. I think this is just amazing. All right, and then I want to talk about Flow. This is the Google Flow. Here's some examples. I like to show you these because they're just really impressive. Google does all of these kind of channels that you could flip through. And then if you click on one, you could show the prompt. And so this is a cool way to learn how to prompt these things by kind of seeing what they do and trying not to recreate the wheel. I know we talked about ideograms, so this is ideogram. And again, I'm all about not trying to do stuff on your own. So go ahead and explore, and if you see something you like, you can again click on the prompt and see what it does. The cool thing in this is it has all these tools in here, so you can change like the size ratio that you need. You can now use a character, so you can make yourself into something. So I'll say speaking in front of an audience, and we'll do style realistic. And I always wear orange, so wearing an orange jacket. I would normally do a longer prompt, but we have a lot to get through today, and you'll see basically how it works. So while that's developing, you can see that it does a lot of realistic stuff. It's great at 3D, and it's also great at words. When you want it to say something that are words, put the text in quotes, and it'll come out right about 99% of the time. Okay, so these are funny. Terrible, but looks like me enough. Looks like a weird version of me with bad teeth, but that's all right. So pretty cool. I would continue to work with those and make them a little bit different. Here's another tool for images, which we talked about, Whisk. So if you open this up, you can add a subject either by text or by an image. You can add a scene and a style. So a style would be like Pixar, 3D, realistic. A scene would be where they are, and a subject would be what it is. I found that this was really cool to do with text. So I'll show you just an example. Let's see. Okay, so I'll grab this for now. And then I would say using the same type of text and brand, create a logo that says Clubhouse. And so it's like pulling what it sees from there with your prompt and kind of blurring it together to create something new. And so you could see it kind of is taking that, made it look a little bit more like prison than a fun uniform, and then you could hit animate and it will make it more of a GIF. So pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna head back to the presentation. So all of those new tools can be pretty overwhelming, but we always say AI is powering sales and marketing, right? And so you have to have a really solid sales and marketing setup to start. So we go with old school. We're gonna start with creating our ideal client profile, and then we talk through top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And then the new thing is we're gonna talk about AI agents. So, what do you think is the number one reason people can't close deals? It's not their script, it's not their outreach method, it's not even their AI tools. It's probably that they're talking to the wrong people. They're just throwing darts in the dark and wondering why nothing sticks. They could be spending hours reaching out to prospects that will never buy. They're running LinkedIn automation, cold email ads, and it's all wasted on people who are not their prospects. So how do you get in front of them? So that used to be something that took agencies days, weeks, months sometimes, and hundreds of thousands of dollars to create these customer avatars or ICPs. But now we have AI that'll really help show exactly who your ICP is and how we can get in front of them. And then once we're in front of them, we can figure out what to say. So let me show you a little bit about that. Let me find the right one here. Okay, so in Club Jam, we have a lot of agents that we share with people. So you can see here, we have custom GPTs and a bunch of different agents that we use. So this is an ICP agent, and basically all you have to do is upload that business blueprint that you created and throw it in here, and it will show you how to create your ideal client profile. Again, because things take a while, I just wanted to try it first, and I have 2 ways to show you. So I did say that ChatGPT 5 came out last week, so I had to play with it a little bit. So I said, help me create my ideal client profile. And then I said, what's the most powerful way to use it now that GPT 5 is out? And so basically, instead of just filling in the blanks like it was before, it has the agentic AI to go out and do work for me and do research. So it does live industry research, pattern recognition, and context-aware reasoning. So it becomes super hyper-specific. So I said what it wanted to do, and I said, heck yeah, let's do it. I uploaded my blueprint. And I'm glad I did this pre this webinar because it took a long time. The new agentic research features in ChatGPT 5 go out and they actually do research, so it takes a little bit longer to get the information. So it came back and gave me my industry roles, company size, my ideal client profile, and you could see how in depth this is. So really gives me like messaging highlights, things to say, things to not say. And then it came back with this, which was new, which was, do you want me to go do an immediate action plan and find these groups? I said, yeah, create a prospecting plan. So went ahead and did that, got all their information, and then 3 steps to execute on that, and even some hooks to open the door with those people. So I thought that was cool. But one thing that I like ChatGPT to do is create these ideal client profile one-sheeters so I can share them with my team. And what I did was I actually took all that information from that last search and went to a new chat with the same agent, and I pasted in my ICP and I said, create a ideal client profile for me. So this was it. And I think this is really cool. So one thing that we used to do back in agency days was create these pictures and profiles, and we would actually tell our clients to hang these on their wall. And when they're creating content, go in and create content for that person. So in this case, I would create content for Sarah. So pretty cool if you ask me. So how do you make sure that you get in front of your ICP? It's just what I showed you in that first ChatGPT conversation. I found out where they hang out. I found out how they like to be communicated to. And I found out what I should say to them to become an authority and subject matter expert on what I do to them. So back when I said making a sale was as simple as finding the right person and saying the right thing, now you can see that it's actually a little bit more complex. And when you bring in marketing, it gets even more complex because, yeah, that's a cool way to prospect. And I would call that more business development. This is more of the marketing approach to it and how to create content for marketing to those people outside of reaching out to them directly. So there's push marketing, which is you're pushing content out and you hope that they see it, and pull marketing, where you're going right to them and pulling them in. So business development is more of the pull, and this type of marketing is the push. So this is an example of marketing content that you could create in each stage of that customer journey. So top of funnel, they're just getting to know you and understand who you are. Middle of funnel, they're getting their lead magnets and they're understanding who you are and they're working with your content. And bottom of funnel is you have to make them make a decision. So how can you use AI to create these? Well, we used to have all these prompts, right? So we could ask it to do a specific thing, and these are still great and I still use them sometimes. But because AI has changed so much, we again have a new way to do it, which would be using our ICP agent. So let's find it, bring it over here. So let's see, GPTs, we'll go to my GPTs and I would find top of funnel agent, and here we go. So let me shrink this back. What I would do is I would just upload again my business blueprint and it'll ask me to do it. So I would upload that. And now it knows everything, so I'm sending it with no other prompt, just here's my information. So it's writing out what the hook, offer, and story are, but I'm going to send this and now it'll take all of my information. Okay, so it wants me to create this hook, offer, story, which is turn AI overwhelm into business growth in just 30 days without being a tech expert. How do you guys like that? Because you're my ideal client audience for the most part. So does that sound right? So here are some alternative hooks. And then the offer, which would be the actual thing, is, oh, they're just going straight for the membership. I don't want that. I would actually, here, I'm going to go back and do a new chat. And that one's more for making the sales. So I'm going to say, review my business and give me top of funnel ideas. So here we go. It's going to ask me for that blueprint. Here we go. Uploading this. And you can see it saying it wants to combine the framework from Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers. That's actually one of the knowledge sources on the back end, along with a bunch of our workbooks from Jam.ai. So here we go. Here are some top of funnel offers. AI Quick Win 5-minute challenge series, from AI optimize offer to live workshop, a story campaign with ROIs, AI myth busts, a free AI roadmap and self-assessment tool. So you can see these are pretty cool and definitely align with my type of prospect. And then here, once you do that, I did it backwards. Once you do that, you can go and do the hook, offer, story package, and I'll explain what those are. So you can get lost in the world of AI tools because there's so many amazing ones, and you can create a bunch of cool GPTs, but it's the framework behind it that, if messy, your results won't work out. You'll be messy too. So you have to have just a simple conversation between you and your audience. So once you have that offer, you have to create that hook to get them there, the offer to download, and then the story is really where you can build a connection. Why you? Why now? Why does this matter? And the story is where emotion is activated and sales are made. Most of your sales won't be made right up front here. They'll be made 3 or 4 emails in once somebody gets to know you, and yeah. You just need a clear message and a system to deliver it, and that's where AI comes in. So I want to just cover this before we end, and I know we're almost out of time, but AI agents and automation have really been the talk of 2025. And really, you can think of them as like a digital employee with brain, hands, and a memory. The brain is the smart thinking part, powered by advanced AI like ChatGPT or Gemini. It understands what you say, figures out what to do, and plans how to do it with kind of a mini strategy expert. The hands and feet are the tools it uses to get things done. These are apps it connects to like Gmail, Stripe, and HubSpot, so it can send emails, process payments, and update you without lifting a finger. And the knowledge and the memory, that's what makes it personal. It can remember past interactions or even learn from your business data and upload it to you and get better over time. It's not just smart, it actually gets smarter the more you use it. So that's what an AI agent is. I'm going to show you a couple examples of platforms where you can make them, and then I'll show you just a really simple automation. So make.com is a platform where you can create pretty simple automations. And let me just log in here. All you have to do is know how to grab an API, and then you must know your brand and voice tone, and you must know how to use ChatGPT pretty well. And the reason I say that is because these are automations, but if you don't program them the right way, they'll look like automations and you might embarrass yourself even. I'm just gonna say it, it's true. Let me show you this one. So this is an automation that will pull a blog. It's not running right now, but it'll pull a blog from an RSS feed. So maybe it's your blog feed, it could be anyone else's. And then it actually feeds into ChatGPT's OpenAI. And on the back end, here, I'll show you what those look like. There's all these assistants that you can create with OpenAI's playground. And I know I'm kind of jumping out there, and if you feel lost, just close your eyes. It's fine, it's almost over. But you need to program these just like you would a custom GPT. It has instructions, and it has the ability to research your files, and you could choose a model. The only difference is that this has an open API, whereas your custom GPT does not, which means you can connect it. So this RSS blog will go into your assistant, and your instructions in the assistant would say, read this blog, and then in my tone, rewrite why it's important for Club Jam members. So it'll do that. And then it'll go and post why it's important on the Facebook page. So that's an automation to create content for your Facebook page. Really simple. This is Zapier. This is another AI automation. Just a heads up, we do live training every week in Club Jam, and this is one of the ones I'm doing a training on actually tomorrow. But basically it'll show you how to use a prospecting tool called Typeform and take people's information, again, throw it into that ChatGPT OpenAI, and then it sends an email. An example of this would be a personal trainer. Get people's information, their custom needs around what they can and can't do physically, their nutrition plans, and then it would go into your trained GPT to create a custom program for them. So instead of saying download our 30-day program, you can have something on your website that says download or get your customized 30-day nutrition plan from our trainers. If it's programmed and trained by your trainers, it's from your trainers. So those are a couple examples of automation. When you're talking about what you want to do, I always say, if you could hire someone, who would it be? Anyone in your company, who would it be? And we actually train our members how to create their entire marketing team. If you see on our website, we have, I'll actually show you because it's funny. I need to put their titles in, but I have all of our teammates here. So you can click in and use my social media agents just so you can see what they're all about. So I think they're kind of fun. All right, well, we talked about a ton of stuff, and I want to leave you with this. You know, the 10 times knowledge worker is who we can be, and success is no longer defined by traditional skills alone. It's now defined by the ability to strategically partner with AI and navigating this frontier to amplify your strengths while avoid your weaknesses. This dynamic is the source of great productivity and what will define the next decade of the knowledge of work. So the other thing is that AI tools can induce friction, distraction, and inefficient workflows, actively hindering productivity. And I want to say that because I've seen it. I host workshops all over the country, and I've heard of people spending hundreds of dollars a month and wasting hundreds of hours a month trying to learn these tools that some kid made in his basement, but marketed it really well. So that's another reason Club Jam is so important to be a part of. We would love to have you. We're currently accepting more members. If you're not sure if you want to start now, we also offer this 5-day mini course. It's just an email course just to kind of whet your palate, so you can give that a try as well. But yeah, I really appreciate you watching this. I hope you learned something, and get in touch with me if you have any questions.